Sweet. I think I'm good. I think I'm ready. I think it's going. Okay. Geez. So. All right. This is way too big. Whew. Okay. Sweet. All right. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I think I'm good. Oh, that sounds awful. Anyway, yep. Just getting everything coordinated. Get it all set up. Oh, I have no idea what any of that means. I have never done this from my phone before. Okay. I got some music in the background. Cool. Okay. So, yeah. First up is this absolutely giant Philco radio, which, very surprisingly, can we get... There we go. Hey, how's it going? Pretty good. Yeah, I just picked up a bunch of radios. Now I have to go through them all and see what needs to be fixed. So, yeah. First is this really big, excessively large for what it is, Philco farm radio. I'm actually surprised that this is a farm radio. So, that dial string's not broken at least, so that's good. Oh. Is that... Is that the power indicator? That's really cool. Instead of a light, it has something that slots. Yeah, cabinet is in rough shape on this one. The veneer is coming off in a few places. And, being a farm radio, Jesus, this is too big. It does not run on AC. It is a DC only input. And it looks like someone chopped that off so you don't plug it into the wall. It looks pretty good inside, all things considered. Actually, yeah, this is probably the battery hookup, which... I looked at this earlier just to kind of get a peek at it. Yeah, model 48-150. I didn't check the year, so... Foco 48. Nope, where's dash? I don't know how to use an iPad. Dash. Okay. Radio Museum says this is 1947, 1948, so actually surprisingly late for a farm radio. So farm radios were battery powered. They ran on DC voltage. A lot of them did have plugs to run on AC, but I guess this Philco doesn't. But yeah, that was because while electricity was pretty prevalent in most places, a lot of rural areas, farming areas, didn't have electricity run to their homes or anything yet. So any radios that they bought needed to be able to run off of a battery or DC from like a small generator or something like that. 47's like really late though. 47, 48. I mean, by then most people were on the grid, I would assume. But this one is going to take a lot of work, not just because the cabinet is rough, but I'm either going to have to rig up something. No candle power. Although, I mean, I guess when you have it running, the tubes glow. So you can always get yourself. Ugh. Yeah. 1 LA6. Wow, I'm actually surprised by that. A 1-volt tube. Now, can I get this one back in there? I don't like these kind. What are these loctals, right? There it is. Oh, that's a Philco tube. That's a Philco tube. What is this one? Oh, that's also Philco. Although that is probably... Maybe. I might actually have all original tubes. So, this one would be really fun to look at. I am not going to dig too deep into this one yet, because I know that there's not really much I can do until I rig up a power source for it. I was reading a little bit earlier, someone getting a bunch of batteries, basically, to make it run. A bunch of 9 volts, which might be, honestly, might be more fun than getting a transformer, and then you have to put in, like, a voltage rectifier and stuff like that, so... The battery, I don't really have to modify the radio much. Just build a battery pack that it can connect into, which I don't know if I can use the original connector. Okay. I'm gonna move this one out of the way. I just don't know where to put it. It's too big. Also, it's really gross. I don't know how well it shows up, but yeah, there's black all over my hands now. Okay, so yeah, Philco needs cabinet work, needs electrical. Oh, these were probably like a really bizarre 67.5 volt battery. 67. Let me see if I can find a picture of one. Yeah, that's okay. This is actually a pretty good example. Yeah. Oh, did something happen? It's funny you say that. I actually have a Game Gear like extended battery pack, the kind with like a belt clip that you wear and carry around with you. Oh hey, cleaner. I'm gonna use some of this on my hands because it's icky. Is the video still okay? It is frozen on my iPad. Oh, okay, no, it's back to normal, I think. Okay, cool. But yeah, I have a Game Gear battery pack, and I've been meaning to open it up and replace the old nickel batteries with something more modern, just for fun, just to use it. But I don't even have a Game Gear, so, okay. Cool, video is good. Alright, so, that Philco needs work. Next up is one that also is going to need a ton of work. very rough Motorola clock radio. Oh, neat. Okay, this is cool too. If you can see on the dial, there are markings between the numbers of a little triangle inside a circle. That is the civil defense broadcast stations. So when this radio was made, you know, everyone was pretty confident that they were going to get bombed by the Russians. So civil defense allocated certain bandwidth, certain stations. Oh geez, who did that? Wow. Yeah, so that you could, you know, for emergencies, you could just tune in to the civil defense broadcast. Yeah, Fallout never happened. Yeah, this radio is actually kind of fucked. Oh, yeah, it's got a big chunk out of the corner. Obviously the antenna is disconnected. Somebody just twisted the AC line-in wire together to it, which honestly I'm surprised that never caught fire. If those touched themselves or anything inside there, that should have caught fire. Now I will say, one interesting thing about this radio, can I get these knobs off, is, yeah, this thing's a death trap. Whoever worked on this last did not value the life of themselves or their family. So, but it might be worthwhile just to steal the clock out of it for another radio repair. Can I get this out easily? Like, don't give me much fight, please. I can't. There it is. Is there another bolt holding it down? I don't think so. No, I see some makings of a rat nest, though. That's always lovely. Okay, yeah, I don't think there's another bolt holding it in there. So can I just get you to come out? Yeah, I don't know. That feels like it's still... Oh, yep. Hey, look at that. Wow, it's even a Phillips. That's probably not original. So, it's got a screw locking it in from the front. Aha, there we go. So, yeah. Definitely a death trap. Definitely would never plug this in as is. This one might just be worth the tubes. In all fairness, I paid like less than $5 for this. So quite frankly, the tubes are worth more. But what makes it fun is incredibly early printed circuit board. Beautiful hand-drawn traces. Basically just a big sheet of like phenolic plating and copper. Oh, what was that? Oh! I found a prize! There's one jacks? What is a singular for jack? Jacks inside. Well, neat. There's a little present that's probably 50, 60 years old. Anyway. Yes, a jack. A singular is a jack. Okay. Oh, that's lovely too. Where's my... Yeah, here you go. This actually is probably not that old because that is stink bug carapace. So, you know, those only came around relatively recently, but not the worst thing I've found in a device. You know, nothing will beat the mummified rat I found in my Sylvania TV. So yeah, this one might just be scrap. But yeah, the clock is a Telechron, which are good clocks, very reliable clocks. Yeah, I don't know. I could maybe bring this one back. So, you know, I have to get all this off. You can pretty much like working on the body of a car. Get some Bondo, fill this in, sand it, prime it, paint it. Yeah, no problem. I've been wanting to do this for a while just because it's fun and it's good that I can do it when I picked up a bunch of radios. Because doing it with just one. Yeah, okay. Children will do exactly those things. If you give a toy to a child, well, not they're calling Game Boy a toy, but it's, it was for children, intended for children. Oh, hey, actually, I might be able to use this. That is the interlock for... Ah, yeah, there we go. The interlock for the plug. So yeah, as a safety measure, yeah, they started making radios with this interlock. So this was attached to the back. Yeah, no, that's pretty nasty. That is super nasty. Oh, yeah, I mean, I get life stuff going on, but it's so much fun. So much fun to work on this stuff. I mean, it's also gross. Super gross, but super fun. But yeah, the safety interlock. So you couldn't work on the radio without the back on, which would protect you from, shocking yourself or worse in some cases. But I actually, quite frankly, I might just yeah, I think this radio is salvage. I don't think this one's gonna be recoverable, but that's fine. I need parts. And actually having that Telechron clock is great. Because we'll see if we can get it to work. I might actually try hooking it up and seeing if I can get something out of it, although it goes to the... That's just the power switch, right? Yeah. So that's no big deal. Yeah, because as long as the clock moves, but the hands rotate, so that's always a good sign. Anyway, let's look this up. This is a Motorola 5C17S. Alright, Radio Museum. Let's see, 1959. Okay, yeah, this is an old one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 50C5. That's what they stole, isn't it? It's my rectifier for the 50C5. I have a need for those. Oh no, here it is. And what goes there? This was in the wrong spot. Yeah, this should have been... Wait, was it? No, okay, that was right. Never mind. I'm upside down. Come on, get back in there. There you go. Anyway, right. So yeah, 50C5, let's see, 1959 is when this is from. So this one's actually quite late. But, again, I don't think this is going to be a solid parts radio. Oh, actually. That clock is pretty rusted. But yeah, no, I'm not foolish enough to plug this in. That's a terrible idea. And in fact, you're gonna just do this. So that way it doesn't ever accidentally get plugged in by anybody. Alright, so that's number 2 down. And it just fell everywhere. That's fine. It's fine. You're just for parts. Although you're making my carpet gross. Shame on you. Okay, I have too much stuff piled up. Everything's gonna fall down in a second. I have to save things. Okay, whoops, sorry. Cool. Alright. Next up is another farm radio. I don't know this one, True Tone 5. I'm not really sure what this is. But it measures... Oh, kilocycles and meters, I see, so it measures both. Dial string works great. It's actually a really pretty dial. I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera. Because it's behind that very, very yellowed plastic. But there's like a texture to it. Oh no, I hear things rattling. Yep, another farm radio. Got the handle. Has this clip. This is for, probably for grounding for the antenna. So that, you know, nothing gets damaged. Okay, yeah, that screw is just not in all the way. Anyway. I don't think there was any info on here. Yeah, just a guarantee. Date from purchase, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So no info on the radio. Yeah, I know nothing about this one. Alright. Come out, screw. I'm actually very curious how this one looks on the inside. I wonder if this one's DC only, or if this one will take an AC plug. Yeah, actually those screws match somehow. All the screws on the back are matching. That's surprisingly rare. There we go. Oh! That is a very interesting antenna. Alright, come on out. I know you're trying to. Come on. I think that, yeah, that's stripped in there, so it's not coming out. There we go. Yep. Okay, anyway, yeah, what does the inside of this radio look like? Very interesting. Very primitive antenna. Huh. Yeah, alright. I'm not sure. Hey, hello. Sorry, yeah, just going through, right, what is this, the third one, right? We had the big Philco, the super busted Motorola, and this weird farm radio, which I honestly don't know what this is. Geez, those are screwed in, those aren't even soldered. There's the tuner. Here, position it. You can see inside a little bit better. This one, this is interesting. I'm not sure what... Oh, come on. Is that a 1C5G, yeah, that's what that says there. 1C5G GT. Sylvania, though, is that original or replacement? Oh, that's tight. Ground. Okay, well, that's for the antenna. Huh. Made in USA. But by whom? Oh, the tag is slightly damaged. A, battery supply, 1.5 volts. B, 90 volts. Oh, this one takes 3 batteries, actually. I don't know how well it can be seen. But, yeah, cat, right. I knew that. Yeah. Also, this is gross. My hands are gross. What are you? 5.2 portable battery, series something 5B3? Chassis number 5B3. Okay, that might be the whole thing, just series 5B3. I don't know what brand I'm looking for. I don't know. Let me look at... This might not be any brand in particular. I mean, what was it? Silvertone, right? So... Let's take a look at Radio Museum and see what they have to say. Come on. What's up with my radio? Oh, there it goes. Okay, it was just being weird. Hold on. Oh, why you gotta be like that? There you go. What was the brand on this one again? True Tone, not Silvertone. Yes, there it is, Series B3. Wow, people are asking a lot of money for them. $100, $75 on eBay. Now I need Radio Museum. Here we go. 1939 double question mark. Okay. Yeah, it seems like this is an odd one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. 6 circuits, dry battery, 90 and 1.5 volts. That's about all the info. Oh, they do have a schematic at least, so. Wonder if this one could be made to run on batteries as well. Let's check it out. I am very curious about this radio, though. This radio is from 1939, I just checked, or give or take. 1939 question mark, because probably not very well kept records. Okay, but this radio intrigues me, so it's coming out of the cabinet. Because this is a weird one. Yes, 39-ish. Probably give or take just a couple years. Oh, geez. That screw is in there. Yeah, this one's in good shape. I mean, it's got a lot of staining on it, but it's... I mean, it was a farm radio. This was probably out in the barn, out in the garage, running on batteries. You know, you probably carried it from building to building, chore to chore, back in the day. You'd put this on, I was explaining earlier, yeah, that farm radios, because, you know, for the longest time, even right up until the, actually, right up until the, like, 70s or so, a lot of rural folks did not have electricity at home, you know, so if they wanted to check the weather, check the farm report, that kind of stuff, you had to have a radio, and you had to have a radio that ran on batteries. Oh, knobs off. Come on. Yeah, this one will be fun. This one's going to be really nice when it cleans up, and I think this is a really pretty radio. Especially, when I get this out, I can make the dial look... Oh, wait. I gotta take the speaker off. Does it disconnect? Also, does the... Yeah, here we go. The antenna also disconnects. We don't need you hooked up right now. Because you are probably not going to get plugged in to anything for quite some time. Not until I can rig a battery or convert it to AC. Stay. Alright. Speaker. Are you hardwired or do you disconnect? Oh, it disconnects. Brilliant. But, no it doesn't. It does not disconnect. Also, those wires are toast. Absolutely toast. That's okay. Let's see how far we can get it out without disconnecting. Yeah, here we go. Look at that dial. That is really pretty. It's got that texture in the middle. I like that a lot. That is really pretty. And that is embossed, actually. Yeah, that is like stamped into the sheet metal of the dial, which is then riveted to this plate for no reason. I mean, I guess just to hold it up, but still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 tube. A little early for an AA5, but still pretty neat. Take a look. Is that a coil? I think that's a coil. So that would probably be like an IF tuning stage. Oh, there's one, so maybe not. I'm not sure. But yeah, what are we looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 wax capacitors, and this would be the electrolytic, which is a 4100. That doesn't help. Oh, see, this is the problem with working on stuff from the 30s. Stuff wasn't necessarily standardized, so each company used their own, like, internal part numbers. So I'd have to look up and see what capacitance and voltage. Yeah, at least these are labeled 1 microfarad, or 0.01 microfarad. But yeah, I might have to look up conversions part numbers. Oh, this is fun. How can I get this close enough to actually see? And do I have something to point with that actually stands out? You know what, my my screwdrivers are red. So this part right here, this might actually be a replacement, this dog bone resistor. And actually, if you look at it, no, they're all right there, so it might be original. That one doesn't match, though. But yeah, this kind of like metal, like, I don't even know what to call it, like a slide thing. It's like a metal sleeve with a metal sheet through it, is actually a type of resistor itself. Don't mind me, I'm just making sure that's not asbestos in the bottom. It's not. Yes, it is a slide thing. Yeah, it's a type of resistor where it's like, instead of, I guess, like wire wrapped, it's like stamped. It's like stamped metal. And I guess that is just enough electrical resistance to be functional. Alright, you're going back in now. How do I get in there? Oh, right, that's annoying. There it goes. Okay. These screws, these big ones go in to hold the chassis in. Nope, that's a Phillips. I'm not lined up, am I? Yes, technical term, slidey thingy. Come on, come out. I can't tell if I'm lined up properly or not. I think it comes back this way just a little bit. Okay, I see. Yep, there we go. Just get in there, screw. Too far away. There we go. Alright, and the other, which actually matches also. This radio, yeah, I'm curious if this one's ever actually had any work done. One of my least favorite things is trying to reverse engineer the work of a repair person from 70, 80 years ago. Why did you do that? Is that the right part? Now I have to go look at the schematics and make sure. You know, it's a fun game to know, did you just bodge it together and make it work, or is this actually properly repaired? Can I just replace it? Why did you replace it? Why did you bypass that part? Or in the case of this this Alvin TV that I'm working on, they just cut a they just cut a capacitor out of circuit. And it just connects to nothing. One end goes to ground and the other end goes to nothing. And you can't help but wonder, why? Is something broken? Like, was the capacitor just going bad and you bypassed it? Or was it shorting out and you just removed it? Is it working properly without that capacitor that it should probably have? Oh, I see. I thought that was funny looking. Somebody put these washes on backwards. There we go. So yeah, this is going to be a really fun and interesting radio. I think this is a really attractive radio. I think if I can get it cleaned up well enough, I think it's going to look pretty good. And from looking at it, probably function pretty well too. Should be quite a nice little radio. Oh, no. Flip that around. There we go. Okay. Get in there. Okay, yeah. These go directly into wood. They're just going to spin forever, probably. As long as they're just tight enough to hold the back on, that's all that matters. Oh, I gotta clean my hands again. Oh. Alright. A little True Tone. Cute radio. Oh, I really have no room to put things. This is terrible. I should have cleaned this room. I was supposed to earlier. Oh, God. Okay. Just go right there. Okay. So next up is the lady I bought this from. Actually gave this to me for free. I was very confused by it at first until I actually brought it home and looked at it. And it says off VHF UHF. When I was there looking at it, I was like, oh, isn't that odd? It has like a UHF VHF antenna hookup. And wouldn't you know it, it also has a VHF and antenna hookup. And a place for the UHF antenna. So this is a very awesome looking and very gross, very dirty. Wow, I am totally blanking. This is a tuner for a TV. Yeah, this is a UHF VHF tuner for a TV. Probably for a TV that at the time didn't have UHF. It probably didn't even have VHF high. Your TV probably went from 1 to 12 and then stopped. But I'm very curious. Nope. Phillips. Very curious about what this looks like on the inside. So it's a Motorola. There's a serial number. It might not even have a model number because it might be like the only one of its kind. From Motorola. Yeah, Stratotuner, serial number, blah blah blah, 117 volts, 60 cycles, blah 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 blah. Yes, I wanted to see in here. Oh, that is cool. That is so cool. So there's a single tube that runs everything. The chassis inside is just a huge copper box. That is awesome. This is, okay, this is probably from the 50s, late 50s. I see ceramic caps. Oh, hey. What are you? A 64 tube is used as a substitute for the 6.4 F4 tube when replacing. That's cool. You need to go back in there later, but not right now. That looks like a selenium rectifier. That looks like a great big, you probably can't see, but great big electrolytic, big wax electrolytic hiding in the corner there. Yeah, neat. Single tube. Yeah, this I am 100% going to keep. This is going to be for me. I'm going to use this with my Sylvania TV. Maybe I'll use it with the Arvin. It's Arvin. I have a lifetime of being conditioned to saying Alvin. It's actually, sorry, this is me being a little nerdy here. So yeah, you got tuner, single tube, see coils, dog bone resistors, ceramic capacitors. Yeah, I'm I'm not necessarily going to dig entirely into this thing right now, but I am going to have to I can't wait to see this cleaned up. That Motorola logo shining and that dial actually being readable. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all are old enough to remember, but there used to be a time when you changed your channels on the antenna and not on the TV itself. You turn the TV to whatever you had the antenna or tuner itself set to, and then you would change the channels on that. Growing up, that's how we got UHF channels. Yay, hey, you made it. Awesome. Good to see you here. Yeah, we've gone through, what, 3 radios so far? Yeah, I got the big Philco farm radio. Oh, yeah, it's my phone. This was kind of impromptu, so I didn't really test things. I just kind of set it up and went from there. But yeah, so this is one of the things I got. Not a radio. This is a UHF VHF tuner for a TV. So you'd plug this into your TV, plug your antenna into this, and then this is how you'd select your channels. On dial side of chassis, okay, it's got 2 tubes, not just 1. Yeah, this thing's going to clean up so well. And again, I think I'm going to keep this for me to keep with probably my 1950 something Sylvania TV. Although that one has UHF. It goes up to like 84, I think, which, you know, TV stopped doing ages ago. And it goes down to 2, which is normal. It doesn't have 1 on it, I don't think. I actually never checked. Does the Arvin go down to 1? Yeah, this is gonna be nice. This is gonna clean up really well, and I think that's gonna be a nice piece of my own personal collection. But yeah, so just finished going through a couple of radios. One is, let's see if I can bring it back up without destroying everything. So, for the couple people that are watching now that missed the very beginning, this absolutely gigantic, but very lovely, Philco farm radio. This thing is entirely battery operated. It does not plug into AC. That would blow it up. It's really late. It's from 1948, I think we said, which is really late for a battery-powered farm radio, because by then most people had electricity. Otherwise, the only reason you'd have this is if you didn't have electricity or just really, really, really wanted a battery-powered radio. But if you wanted the battery-powered radio, you would have got something portable, not this giant, I guess this is like a consolette. It's built like a console radio, just smaller. Yeah. The one before that was another farm radio. Oh, I should put the knobs back on so I don't lose them. It's a good thing. Yeah, another farm radio. Which, this one is really cool. And I really want to see this one cleaned up and working. I think this is going to be really nice. Yeah. So another battery-powered farm radio that I'll probably have to either build a battery pack for, or convert. I gotta clean my hands again. If you're wondering what my cleaner is, it is isopropyl alcohol, water, and dish soap. So, like, it's not anything wild. I use it to clean everything. Yeah, this one's super cool. I really love the dial on it and the look and everything. And then the other one that we took a look at was this very rough Motorola clock radio. This one is probably only going to be used for parts, other than the fact that The cabinet is super smashed. It's... Someone just twisted the power cable into it. They didn't even like solder it down or cap it off or even electrical tape it from what I can tell. So I'm thinking this one's just going to be for parts. The only thing that's really interesting about this is the real old school printed circuit board. These are always fun to look at. But yeah, I think this one was less than $5. The clock, the tubes, and the speaker are going to be valuable for fixing other radios in the future. Actually, that audio transformer is probably going to be really handy too. I'll need that at some point, I'm sure. Maybe steal some other stuff off of it. But yeah, this one was a death trap, so let's just leave this one alone and just steal everything out of it. Next up, this one, okay. Ooh, one of two. You know what? Let's start small. Now, this one, on the other hand, I am super excited for. This is another Motorola clock radio. It's in much better condition. It is absolutely gorgeous. This kind of like pale seafoam color. Really nice clock. It is another Telechron movement. Cool looking dial. I'm assuming that's volume, because that's radio on, off, and alarm. This is to stop your alarm. I actually want to see how that works. I'm very curious. This part's cool too. This is a timer, so you can set it to play the radio. Yeah, I like that tone to it and everything on this. Yeah, honestly. Let's just get straight to taking a look in the back. But yeah, here's what I was talking about earlier for the other people. So, eventually they got smart and didn't let you open a radio without unplugging it, and there was no way to turn it on or plug it in without reattaching the back. So that's called an interlock, and it's for safety reasons. Oh, there we go. So, yeah, the plug is connected to the back. You can't plug it in without putting the back on. So, taking a look inside, there is another early printed circuit board. Tube, that is probably another 50C5. Oh yeah, right. And you also got to be real careful with these early circuit boards. They're very, very, very fragile. They were still figuring out how to make them, so they're like super flexible and Alright, well, I don't really know what I expected as far as for the snooze button there, but it's just on springs and it just pushes down a lever that closes a contact, so that's clever enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is like your standard AA5 radio, All American 5, which is just like a standard of radio, you know. Once they got so good at making them, they just made them all the same way. Maybe every once in a while, someone would throw in an extra tube, you know, usually in the audio amplifier, and they'd put a big, like, 5 or 7-inch speaker in it. Yeah. I actually think that this one looks good. And without even looking at all of the components, I think what we're going to do is bring this one up on the Variac and take a listen. Oh, you fit in that way. That's a weird way. Whatever. And interlock. Make sure it's connected. Oh, actually, before I do that, let's find out what this is. It's a Motorola C3G-1. I'm assuming that 55 is the date, but let's double check. C3G-1. Search. Radio Museum. Alright. It is 1959, question mark. That's probably about right. A 55 is probably not a date, but... anything special about it? 50C5, 12BA6, 12AV6. Plastic, not Bakelite. Yeah, okay. So there's nothing, nothing stand out about, the way this radio is made, but it absolutely is just a good-looking radio. I especially like that hour hand there. That is really cool, that big ring on it. It looks space agey with the angles, the sharpness, the reflective chrome. So we are gonna bring this one up on the Variac, as long as the plug looks fine. It does. Okay. So let's plug it in. Alright. Make sure we're at 0. We're going to turn that on. We're going to make sure I'm on the right thing. I think that's radio. I think that's radio on, off, alarm. So I think I'm going to go there. I don't know if this is right. Okay. So, at some point in very shortly, once we turn it, the clock should start moving. Alright, started at 20 volts. No. Dial's coming off, but that's fine. That's easy enough to glue back down. Yeah, this radio is going to be fun. This one's going to be a super easy sell. I didn't check to see. Do the hands move? Minute hand moves, hour hand moves. Okay. So, it's at least free. Yes, yeah, I love how this stands out. The red M, the black Motorola. Wait, 1959? Yes, my mom was also -1 year old. Okay. There shouldn't be any glow at 20 volts. There shouldn't be anything happening. So we're going to up it to about 30 and let it sit there for a moment. We're just going to give it, like, maybe 2 minutes every 10 volts just to see. I don't know what I'm supposed to be set on. I assume this one's volume, so we don't want it to surprise us, so we're going to turn it down slightly. Are those bagpipes? I don't know what is happening. I'll turn my radio down a little bit. Alright, no movement on the clock yet, but that might not be enough. Oh, hands are gross. Here, can we set this up for everybody to see? Is that going to look good? Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay. Let's up it to 40. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the on switch, so I'm just going to leave it there. Hold on, I gotta turn that off for a second. Okay, I'm not getting any hum or anything out of the speaker yet. So, I doubt I have glow or anything. No filament. Okay. Want something better to prop this up with? No, I don't want to use that. Yeah, it's fine. Nut driver it is. Alright. We're going to take it up to 50. Still shouldn't see anything yet. But do I hear any hum? No, around 60 to 80 volts is when things should start coming alive. On the one hand, I want it to work. On the other hand, I'm trying to be patient. So don't crank it up all the way. The other day I plugged in a radio right away, and I'm lucky that it was fine. It already had a bad tube to begin with, so once I replaced that, I plugged it again and it worked. That was the Delco, yeah, that I sold. You know, it's not the biggest deal to blow up tubes. The way these radios work is they're series strung. So just like a pair of Christmas lights or a string of Christmas lights, if one goes out, they all go out. But the first tube in the chain is the rectifier. It's what takes the 120 volts in from the wall, and then divides it up and separates it. It's it's a voltage regulator, basically. It's a high voltage rectifier, technically. So it separates that 120 and cranks it way up to the 400, 600 that they need. That first fuse, though, is basically that first tube is basically a fuse. It'll blow, and then nothing else should happen. But what's worse than that is if the tubes are out of spec, but working just enough to let the electricity go through, it'll start pumping out crazy voltages that will affect things like the what is it called? Transformer. The transformer for the speaker. And if the transformer goes, honestly, that's like the whole value of the radio. Tracking down another transformer that works and fits and is the right spec would basically be more than the radio is worth at that point. That's what I was saying earlier. This other Motorola, that audio transformer, this thing right here, is one of the most worthwhile parts in this. So keep it around for that. Okay, you've sat at 50 long enough, so let's pump it up to 60. Second hand still isn't moving. Still no hum. Is there any... I don't see any filament glow yet either. We're going to give it just a minute here before we move it up to 80. And then that's when things should start to really start popping up. Yeah, the other day when I was bringing the Arvin TV up, first of all, I was worried that the amperage would be too high for my Variac, but actually it wasn't. I think I looked it up and it's not, the wattage wasn't high, so the amperage was super low, and this thing goes up to 5 amps, which is probably more than most of my devices will ever output. Yeah, but as I was turning it up, there was little puffs of smoke. There were, crackling and popping as things kind of boiled off. And that was bringing it up nice and slow. That was doing 10 volts every 10 minutes or so. And then the electrolytic spilled its guts. Actually, this electrolytic that I have since removed, and I don't know if I can't get it to show up in camera for photos, but maybe on video it might. Where am I at? Yeah, here we go. Nope, I'm all over the place. I'm terrible at camera. There we go. But yeah, if you can see, there's electrolytic fluid that just spewed out of this. Like, I could hear it, like, spitting out, and it was just, like, squirting out of this thing. And in fact, when I was trying to desolder stuff from it to take it off, it started spitting it out again. So, yeah, you can't... Old things leak both literally and electrically, like they drift from, where they're supposed to be, and if they do too much, that's when things go bad. So, alright, bringing it up to 70. Oh, second hand is moving. Check it out. Okay, that's a great sign. The clock is not frozen up. If these clocks sit too long, there's like oil inside of them that will eventually like solidify, or they'll start to rust, or just like any motor, it seizes up. and then you have to really work to unseat it, and that requires like heat, flushing out all of the old oil, and then pumping in new oil and stuff like that, because these motors are like sealed units, they're sealed containers. They were never meant to be serviced. On these, not made of plastic. Not yet. A couple years after this, probably, when they started going solid state. But on these, actually, there probably aren't gears in this for the most part. Maybe like one or two. But yeah. So that's a great sign. And I told you around 80 volts is when we'll start seeing things. I hear the clock running, but I don't hear any speaker hum. I don't see any filament yet. But the clock running is a great sign. But the clock is hooked directly to AC power. So even if the rest of the radio doesn't work, the clock will run. But the clock isn't seized up, which is another like really difficult and really expensive part to replace. So we're going to bring you up to 80. Yeah, still no filament glue. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad the clock works. That's, that is kind of the highlight of a clock radio, is that the clock works. Honestly, if I didn't have my 1960 Zenith in my kitchen already, this would be a great replacement, because I love these, like, just these lines. Not only does it dip inward to this point, which is that dead center? Yes. But yeah, so it dips into the center, but then it also, goes backwards towards it. Very attractive. What is the time? 8:39. Oh geez, it's 8:39 already. So here, let's see how well it keeps time while we're waiting on things to warm up. All right, 8:40 now, we can call it. So right there. And then what we're also going to do is set the alarm for 9 o'clock, because I want to hear what the alarm sounds like. Yeah, this one is definitely MCM, mid-century modern, more than like deco, but that big Philco, that farm Philco here behind me, is so deco, and I love it so much. I love like the swooping and just like the scroll work. I love the angles. Here, if I can swing this around real quick. I don't want to make anybody dizzy, so I apologize. But if you can see my console radio hiding behind my console radio there is so deco. I love it. Alright, anyway, we're coming back to this. Here we go. Yes, Art Nouveau is just as good. Yeah, Gilded, Deco, and Nouveau are all excellent design languages that I'm a huge fan of. Yeah, hold on. I don't smell burning dust. Yeah, that should be alarm. Yeah, I'm not hearing anything yet. Alright, so let's bring it up to 90. Just to make sure I have it hooked up right. Not hooked up right. I know what on and off positions are. Pretty sure that the one that says radio and then on is radio. not hearing anything yet. Bring it up to 100 volts. I don't know. Yeah, no tubes glowing yet. They should be starting. Yeah, nothing yet. Well, let's go ahead and just bring it up the rest of the way. That should be like 115, 117, which should be perfect for running this. So, alright, clock's running, but no radio, no tube filament voltage. Okay, off subject. Aw. Hey! Okay. Tuner is a little weak. It's definitely, yeah, it's picking up background radiation, exactly. But you know what I'm not getting? Is a loud, consistent hum that's loud regardless of the volume. It's trying. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's definitely dirty. And I don't know if you can hear it, but there are voices behind the static. So it's picking up. Where's my filament? There it is. I see it now. Weird. Huh. It took a long time to kick in. Can I get my weird religious station? That usually doesn't fail me. Yeah, usually I can get that religious station in with nothing, like no effort. But not at the moment. Alright, so that turns the radio off. And yep. Okay, hey, that's a great sign. So we'll go ahead and turn that off. Alright. I want to take another look in the back real quick. Come on, interlock. There you go. Just to see if anything, you know, exploded. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if I replace a handful of capacitors, this thing would probably sound pretty... Ooh, that was hot. Hot tube. Yeah, I think this thing would sound pretty good. I think that would be really nice. Whew, yeah, they're running a little hot, but I think that's normal for what they are. Because I know the 50C5s are hot. They get hot to the touch. Yeah, this one shouldn't need much work. Just a handful of capacitors replaced, and even the one here that goes to the clock is already like a polymer capacitor. So that one probably doesn't need to be replaced. I see the electrolytic. I see some resistors. And maybe a wax paper cap somewhere hiding in there. Nope. Yeah, it probably just needs new filter capacitors, which are the electrolytics. They filter out, you know, the weird electrical fluctuations. Yes, I am in Pennsylvania, and yes, I consistently get in one good working religious station here. Oh, wait, right. We wanted to hear the alarm clock. That's the last thing. Alright, so let's turn you back on. Alright, clock is going. So, I have it set for 9. Alright, how do I make it alarm? Oh! Because the alarm's set to radio. Okay, hold on. So how do I set it to... That's radio. That's also radio. And then that's radio. Alarm. Ew, gross. Okay. I tried. I'm gonna give that up for right now. But yeah, this radio is gonna be really quick and easy. This one's not gonna take much effort at all. And with that, I am down to the last one, which is actually not a buzz. These they use like a little like flap of metal that like blah, 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 and hits another piece of metal. So they have like a ringing sound. Okay. Here is one I am very excited for. Oops. The only thing I know about this one is it's a Stromberg Carlson, and it does FM, which is, I don't know when this is from. It's got to be 50s, even though it feels like Bakelite. It's really heavy. The grill is absolutely beautiful. The dial is beautiful. Standard broadcast, which is AM, and then frequency modulation. Yeah, geez, this thing is so heavy. Alright, let's look up what you are. There's a chassis number. There it is, number 1204HA Pioneer. What did I say? 1204? 1204. Alright, Radio Museum, 1204 series. Oh, very cool. 1948. Actually, that's, wow. For an AM radio, that's way earlier than I would have expected. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tubes. No, it's an FM set. That makes sense. Otherwise, actually, nothing particularly special about it. So, that's cool, though. This one's really cool. Alright, let's take a look in the back. Yeah, the antenna's, like, on the outside, and it's, like, broken, which is really annoying. I'm gonna have to fix that. It's not gonna get very good reception for as long as it's like that. In fact, yeah, it's like missing pieces, so I'm gonna have to replace that. Come on, just stay there. I don't need you doing that. Alright, whatever. I tried. Yeah, let's pop the back off and take a peek inside. Oh, the screws are matching? That's always great to see. Oh, my voice is shot. I'm still getting over being sick. Those last few hours before bed at the end of the day are rough. Okay, and let's check it out. Oh, what is that? That's weird. Cool. I see a very strange assortment of tubes. And a lot of spider webs. Huh. Oh, that's the FM tuner. That's gotta be. But that's wild looking. That's a strange one. Where is? That's power. Are you tuning? Yes, there it goes. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I haven't actually seen that style of tuner in person. Oh yeah, it's full of spider webs. Come here. Let's just clean these out. Yep, made in USA, 1204, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's weird. Oh, that's a Sylvania tube. I don't know that brand. Is it Cunningham tubes? I don't know that brand. Well, you know what? First of all, make sure that's on 0. I'm not going to bother checking underneath just yet, because I have a feeling the fact that all the tubes match except for like one, all of those are Cunningham except this one. And that is I'm pretty sure that's just a ballast tube. So the thing about tubes is all of your tubes have to equal up to your intended voltage. So if your radio runs on 115 to 120 volts, you want to get up to 115. So you have a 50, something like a 50 C5 tube, or you have like a 35 Z4 tube and stuff like that. So it all has to add up to like, 115, 120, somewhere in that range. When you can't quite do that, you add a ballast tube, which basically just, kind of clocks it in there. Okay. What are we on? Let me check. I think that's AM and FM. Okay. We're gonna start on FM. Alright. So let's bring this one up. Where's the volume? We don't want to be start on 10 volts, and we'll let it sit here for a minute or two. Does any of that help? I really need better lighting in here. Yeah, this should be all right. Actually, we don't want that right now, because what we want to look for is filament glow. Okay. Let's take it up to, I'm just going to take it straight to 40. That should be fine. It's still too low to do anything, but we'll let it sit there for a minute or two. There's all sorts of dead bugs. Gross. And now it's on my pants. I don't know why I did that. I want to see how well this cleans up also, just real quick, because the debate is, can I just straight clean this? Oh yeah, I think I can. I might end up repainting it, but I might not have to. Alright, let's take it up to 50. Yeah, I'm really surprised. I did not expect this radio. It looks like something from the 40s, but I haven't seen a radio from the 40s that did FM. This is the first. This is another radio that will probably clean up real nice. It's going to sound great because it's like, what, a 7-inch speaker? Maybe 5-inch. No, it's like 7-inch. Yeah, it's like a 7-inch speaker. So it's going to sound good. It's going to look good. Yeah. That should be a nice one. Yeah, especially if I repaint it. Repaint it ivory. Because I've got ivory spray paint that I think should look pretty good in comparison. This one's very dirty, kind of yellowed. And I mean, it is already painted. It's just brown Bakelite that's been painted ivory, so as long as I do it well, it should improve it. That grill, though, that grill cloth, that gold mesh, like metal grill cloth is really cool. Alright, what are we at now? Crank it up to 60. Let's see if anything starts to come to life. No humming, so no filter hum. That's always a good sign. Yep. All we can do is wait. Let's see. So yeah, we got that interesting FM tuner in there. I've never seen one that's just like totally vertical like that. What is that transformer for? There's this audio transformer. Are you a transformer set? Interesting. Also, is that a Christmas light in there? Oh, there's no way to see it with the camera. It's in such an awkward angle. I'm gonna get in there with my phone after the stream and take a picture and I'll post it on Blue Sky. But I'm pretty sure that someone replaced the dial lamp with a Christmas light. 70. Things should slowly start lighting up. Might start getting sounds. What is this one, right? This one's tone. And this is AM and FM. I don't know which is which, though. That's going to need to be oiled. No filament yet. This is a transformer set. I don't know. It might take some more work. As opposed to the series strung sets. I'm feeling confident. We'll take it up to 80. Any filament glow yet? Nothing yet. I'll let it sit at 80 for a minute before we do anything else. Let me take a look at this one again, because I have a feeling this radio probably... If you're talking about this radio, yeah, this radio looks like churchy or angelic. It looks like... I mean, they call them cathedral radios for a reason, so... Just out of curiosity, what do they go for on eBay? Oh, someone wants $325 for one. On Etsy, they want $140. And those are brown ones. Brown ones are not interesting. Here, let's check eBay directly. Come on. No, let me just type. Why? Where's my keyboard? Filter. Let's check sold. Okay, so a brown one sold for $125. Oh, plus 76 shipping, so it sold for $200. That's not bad. I bet you the white one will go for more. So yeah, I think maybe once I have this all up and running, I'm willing to bet it's like a $200, $250 radio. Alright, let's bring it up to 90 and things should probably start coming to life now. Oops, metal, ignore that. Also, I guess I should say this every time, but hey, yeah, well, thanks for joining. I'm glad. It's good to like actually know some people are gonna be around to talk to instead of just talking to myself. So thanks for hopping in. Yeah, I'm gonna finish this up, and then that way it'll be watchable for anybody that wants to watch it later. And I will follow up with some things on Blue Sky. So you have a good night. Where is my filament? Oh, I see a dead ladybug. Hi, dead ladybug. Honestly surprised I've only found a couple of dead insects. No speaker hum. Oops. Alright, let's bring it up a bit more. Alright, where are you at, radio? Should be getting something out of you by now. Where am I at? There we go. I won't go any higher. That's like 117. I got no filament, no hum. Okay, let me take another look at this. What tubes are in here? Do I have a replacement for the one that I need? Radio Museum. There's a 50L6 GT. You are probably the voltage rectifier, right? Oh my god, stop. Yep, power beam tube, power output. So, that is the voltage rectifier tube. Alright, so let's shut you down. You. Come here. No, it doesn't rattle. L6. Do I have another 50L6? That's a good question. I know I don't have one at hand, that much sure. Alright, let's try it again. Okay, well, there could be any number of things wrong with it. If anybody's still watching. If not, whomever watches this later, I am going to look for a replacement 50L6 tube. I am going to, in fact, here, can you, yeah, let me show better. 50L6 tube, this one right here, this big guy. That is the power output tube, it's the voltage rectifier. So electricity comes in, goes through there, gets cranked up to the numbers that it needs. Yeah, turn that off, turn you off, and end the stream. So, everybody that watched, thank you for watching. That was super fun. That took longer than I expected. So, anyway, have a good night, everybody. Oh, hey, yeah, no problem. Thanks for watching. Yeah, again, I'll follow up on Blue Sky with any information on this one and anything else that comes up. And then when I go to repair the first one on the list, I'll probably stream that as well. So, good night.